Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look in this training module at our VCM Editor software. Now, we downloaded and installed the VCM software suite in our last tutorial, and we just briefly opened up the software and looked at this. Now, we're going to go over things in this tutorial so you understand where to find various features and functions so you're as efficient as possible with this software and comfortable so that when we're moving into our future training tutorials, there's not going to be any surprises as we're going through and demonstrating, let's say, a calibrating and tuning task within the editor software. You're going to understand, again, where to find things and just getting more familiar and comfortable with everything here. So the very first thing I want to do is open up a calibration file. The calibration file is also known as a tune file. This is going to be what was found in an engine control module for whatever vehicle you're going to be tuning. You can read your calibration file out. In this case, I'm going to be opening up supplied calibration files. There are going to be a lot of stock equivalent files for a variety of different Gen 3 vehicles. So we have them as a reference point for our training course. Let's go ahead and open up a calibration file so we get something loaded in the software that we can start to kind of navigate through and see the software a little bit better. So I'm going to go up here to File and then go to Open. And then in here, we're going to go to our desktop. Now, I have the Gen 3 Coyote folder. This is our course folder. This has all of the needed calibration files, sample data logs, math channels, the things for our scanner. Everything is located in this particular folder, and you definitely want to download that, which can be found in the beginning of our training course. It's the very first item in the training course. You'll see that there's going to be simply click on the icon. It'll download to your laptop, and then you can unzip it and put it on your desktop or wherever you want to put it. And that's going to be where we find, again, all the information for our training course. So I have that located on my desktop right now. Let's go double click here in the folder, and then we're going to move into our sample calibration files. I have a decent amount of stock equivalent files in here for a variety of different vehicles. So we can see there's auto, there's going to be manual examples, Roush, Whipple examples, so a bunch of different options in here. What I'm going to do is just open up just a basic, simple file here. Let's open up a 2019 Mustang GT. Let's do an auto stock file. So let's go ahead and click on that, and then we'll just simply go here to open. And now the file will be loaded into our VCM editor. Now this file is from another stock vehicle that was read out with a MPVI cable. This obviously wouldn't be used for your vehicle. You want to always read your original calibration file that's loaded in your engine control module, transmission control module. You want to read that out with the software. We're going to talk about the read and write process in another tutorial, but just understand that this was read out and saved from another vehicle, and it's going to be only used as a reference point. So let's say you have a 2019 Mustang and it's been modified. Let's say it's been tuned by somebody already, and you want to see what another tuner has done. Well, you can load a stock equivalent file, and you can use a compare feature, which we're going to briefly touch on in this tutorial and have a dedicated tutorial on coming up here in the training course, talking about the compare option. But this allows you to essentially see what changes have been made very quickly. So this is, again, just a reference point. So this is something we can open up right now to take a look at. And it's, again, something that's nice to reference if you're looking at a tune file from a similar vehicle. All right, so what we can do at this point, start to take a look at some of the features and functions in our software. The very first thing I want to take a look at is just poking through the tabs that we find right here. You can see that there's different tabs. We can see engine, engine diag, trans diag, fuel system, and speedo. So the way that HP Tuners breaks down a calibration file, it puts things in essentially a format, and the format is going to be organizing things within something that's similar to each other. So for example, everything in here for the engine is going to be parameters, tables, values that are for the engine control module programming. Everything found here in our trans tab is going to be everything related to transmission controls of the transmission control module. Anything for calibrating and tuning the transmission control module will be found in here. Now the diogs, we can see right here, there's a trans and an engine. This is going to be diagnostics, things related to the DTCs or check engine lights that can come on. We can turn things on or off in both of these sections. We also see fuel system here. So this is going to be something that's outside of the engine control module here, for example. So for controlling the high pressure pump or the low pressure pump on our Gen 3 vehicle, that programming can be found in here. System would be things like air conditioning or the cooling fans. All of that can be found in here. And then finally, speedo. This is going to allow you to recalibrate for, let's say, a rear end change. If you're going from a 3.1 to a 3.55, or you're changing your tire size, you can do the recalibration process so your speedo is accurate, your actual vehicle speed's reading accurate, so your transmission shifts right. So that's things we can find in our speedo. Let's pop into some of these tabs and just start to poke around and take a look at a few things. Again, just so we can get familiar and comfortable with how the software is laid out. So we're going to jump over here into our engine tab. And then in here, we can find, it starts off over here into general. So again, engine is everything related to our engine control module. Now we're going to be breaking it down in more specific areas here. So there's a general area. This is looking at some things we can toggle on and off. We can look at idle. This is things related to our idle control. So we're popping through here. Then we can take a look here at airflow. These are things related to anything with airflow. So the mass airflow sensor or our speed density, the electronic throttle body control, the intake manifold runner control, or also cause the CMV's charge motion valve assembly. We have variable camshaft, and then we also have supercharger. In this case, this is a stock Mustang file, so there's no supercharger fitted. Here's everything under exhaust. This is looking at your temperature for estimation. And thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.